Channon was everything you could ever ask for in a baby sister. She was smart, funny, loving, caring, and most importantly, loyal. She was there for me through any situation, day or night. It didn't matter. She followed me all over this country, watching and supporting my baseball career. She was also an inspiration, not only to me, but anyone that ever met her. She could literally light up a room when she walked in. Her smile was contagious. Her love was extraordinary. She was, is, and will always be my inspiration. From the time we were able to walk, we did almost everything together. From dressing up for Halloween as kids to going out on the lake whenever I was home from school. She was truly my best friend. I remember one day she was playing poker on the computer. And I was leaving to go take one of my last finals in college. She started laughing and asked what I would do if I didn't pass. And I laughed and said, well, let's just hope that I do. I said, I love you, sis. She said, love you too, Chaser. Those were the last words she ever said to me. That was the last time I ever saw my baby sister, my inspiration, and my best friend.
Who was Channon? She was a miracle. I was told I might never be able to have kids. So when Chase was born, we were ecstatic. Then when Channon was born, we had the perfect family. She was a precious child and a very special young woman. She had a beautiful face and a gorgeous smile, and she had the most loving heart. She was 5'8.5", with the longest legs you'll ever see. Her hair was brown. She had a 36-inch inseam, and she was tall and thin. And she loved her family. She had her daddy wrapped around her little finger, and all she had to do was look at him with those big, beautiful blue eyes, and he would melt in her arms. She was Daddy's little girl. He was so proud of her. He beamed with pride, watching her grow into the most amazing person she had become. And she loved her brother Chase. She was so proud of him. She followed him over 5 states, watching him play baseball, from Little League through college. They had a very special bond, almost like twins. They were only 17 months apart in age and only a year apart in school. And they hung out together all the time and pretty much had the same friends. When he went away to college, they would talk on the phone, and she would go see him almost every weekend. They were always there for each other. And she was special to me as well. We were not just mother and daughter. We had become very special friends. We talked about everything. She knew she could tell me anything or say anything in front of me. She wasn't perfect. None of us are. But she was a beautiful young woman with a beautiful soul. She had so much love to give. She loved life and would never hurt a soul. When she wasn't at home, she would always call to check in and let me know where she was and what she was doing. She was ethical, honest, considerate, loving, and loyal to a fault. Between Chase and Channon, our house was always full of kids. If you were their friend, you grew up in our home. She loved her friends and would do anything for them. If anyone she loved was sad or hurting, she would be there to help them through whatever they needed. She would take care of them, and they would do the same for her. Her best friend, Kara, they were both joined at the hip since about the 3rd grade. They were like sisters, and now Kara's the only daughter I have left. Channon was 21 years old when she was murdered. She was a senior at the University of Tennessee, majoring in sociology. She wasn't sure exactly what she wanted to do, but she knew she wanted to help children in some ways. She loved kids. No one could say anything negative about her family or her friends, or she'd let you have it. What was her life like? She would light up a room with her smile. She was so excited when she got into UT. She looked forward to graduating, and she would have graduated in December of 2007. She loved UT football. She was working 2 jobs while taking a full schedule at UT. She loved to go shopping, camping, 4-wheeling. She loved the beach, and she loved going boating on the lake. She enjoyed golf. But most of all, she loved being with her friends. She never did any drugs. There was no proof. I know this because she told me. If I asked her a question, she would always tell me the truth. But for those who doubted, I knew my child. I have the toxicology report, and I have her work records to prove it. And she didn't smoke cigarettes. We were so fortunate to have 2 great kids who never got into any trouble. If she or one of her friends had a problem, they knew they could come to me. I would listen, not judge, and do whatever I could to help them. Just like any young woman, she would dream about her wedding. She had the song picked out for the dance with her daddy and her first dance with her husband. Now, he will never get to walk her down the aisle, and I will never get to be the mother of a bride, and I won't get to help pick out a wedding dress for her to wear or to help her plan that perfect day. She wanted 4 children, but she wanted the first one to be a boy. So the other 3 would have a big brother to watch over them like her chaser did for her. Did Channon and Chris suffer? What do you think? I know my daughter was scared to death, but I know if she could have, she would have fought back. And I know if had the chance, Chris would have done anything to protect Channon. Chris was a wonderful young man. He treated her like a princess, and he would do anything for her. Our kids are the victims. Gary and I regret each day that we failed our daughter. We were unable to keep her safe. And as parents, you're supposed to keep your kids safe. Gary, Chase, and I think about Channon and what happened to her each and every second of every day. The thought of what she had to endure haunts us each and every day. We don't sleep. It's hard to concentrate on anything else. Neither Shannon nor Chris deserved what happened to them. They did nothing wrong. Now, I'm constantly scared for the safety of Chase, Gary, our friends, and myself. It's not fun to constantly look over your shoulder for fear someone is after you. You never think anything like this will happen to you? Well, it can, and it did. If I could trade places with Shannon, I'd do it in a second. It breaks my heart to see the hurt and the pain in Gary and Chase's face, knowing there's nothing I can do to make it go away. Shannon was taken from us way too early. She suffered more than any one person should have to endure. The last thing a parent should ever have to do is bury a child. We miss her. Such a beautiful young woman. We miss her smile, her laugh, those beautiful eyes. I still expect her to walk through the door. I pick up the phone to call her, only to remember she can't answer the phone. I hope she knows how sorry we are for what happened, and I pray she can forgive me for not being able to protect her. She made us all better for knowing her. A part of us is missing. There's a hole in our hearts that will never be filled. We will never be a complete family again. Shannon was proud of her family, her friends, her school, her education, and she was extremely proud of her faith in God. I miss my little peanut, and I will always love her. None of us will ever be the same. This tragedy took away a daughter, a son, a sister, a brother, an aunt, an uncle, and one day a mother and a father. We will always miss Shannon and Chris, and we will always love them. My perfect family is now broken. Thank you.